Mahua ma'am, I'm starting, but it is not taking right now. So I will try it again and again.
Now it has started.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So, good morning all, my dear students and esteemed faculty members. I welcome you to Institution Innovation Council for the session 2021 and 22. Institution Innovation Council, it is part of Ministry of Education Innovation Cell. We are a part of it, and IIC is only for students who have aspiration to do something different from other students. And the main goal of IIC is to create an environment for innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship in the campus. So you people are all ambassadors of IIC, and being a part of IIC, you have access to around 1700 IICs across India, and you will be part of all the events, all the activities that are being organized by Ministry of Education as well as other institution innovation council pan India. So we have a lot of expectations from you, and you have to participate in some national level events like Smart India Hackathon, National Innovation Contest, and many other things which will come throughout the year. Though we have not entered your name in the portal this time because it is still not updated for the next session because we have started early this time. But as soon as the portal is open for entering the data, we will be entering your details in that Ministry of Education's portal, right? And after this session, all of you will receive a certificate from Institution Innovation Council for being an active participant in the activity. So I wish you all the best, and to appraise you about Institution Innovation Council and all the activities and what the agenda we have in at Amity University for promotion of innovation and entrepreneurship. We have invited few innovation mentors and uh, members from Amity Center for Entrepreneurship Development as well as Amity Innovation and Design Center. So to start with, I invite Dr. Neelam Saxena, who is heading Amity Center for Entrepreneurship Development, to give insight into the activities that we do at the campus and what is the expectation from the student members for this academic session. If you could start with ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Sujata, for initially let me congratulate you for having this orientation session of IIC 4.0 Council for year 2021-22, and this activity of a workshop on entrepreneurship and innovation as a career opportunity. My heartiest congratulations to the whole team of Amity Innovation and Design Center for conducting this, and thank you for inviting me. What do we understand by innovation? Let us first understand the word innovation and entrepreneurship. So there is discovery. When you do discovery, it is we are talking about some new ideas, knowledge and concept. So discovery is development of new ideas. And when these new ideas get implemented, then it gets to be invention. So out of these new ideas, knowledge and concept which has been made, invention take place. So when invention is taking place, technologies and business models start being made. So these technologies and business models will then give rise to some useful implementation. This useful implementation is called as innovation. So useful innovation of product, service and experiences and exploitation of these inventions to create a economic value and a social value is called as innovation. Now there are two type of people. These two type of peoples are finders and makers. So those who are finders, they only concentrate on discovery and invention. And those who are makers, they concentrate on invention and innovation. And the useful exploitation of the concepts or the ideas which the founders have done is innovation. So understand the synergy which comes into the academia when we are talking about innovation. And there is a professor called as Schumpeter, who's a very famous researcher on entrepreneurship. He says an invention is an idea, sketch, or a model for a new or an improved device, product, process, or system, and it has not yet entered into an economic system, and inventions never do so. But when we talk about innovation, innovation is accomplished only with first commercial transaction involving the new product, process, system, or a device, and it is a part of economic system. So if I have to tell you what is innovation, it is a process of bringing an intentional change made to create value by meeting opportunity and seeking advantage, and it is a specific function of entrepreneurship. Without this function of innovation, entrepreneurship does not exist. So if I have to talk about the process, it is an invention which brings in the change, and this gets converted into useful implementation. So innovation is not technology per se, students. Please don't think it is a science. Innovation is not making an invention or a device. It is not a prototype. And it is not a new market where I can be talking about new product or new service. So innovation is not technology, it is not an invention, and it is not a new product or a service. But innovation is a behavior and a psychological concept. Changes in behavior and behavior based on economies is innovation. So when I am talking about innovation, we are not talking about invention. And as such, when we will be again now talking
Good morning, madam.
about, yes, when we will be talking about uh, the activities which we need to do for our
Recording.
in the Innovation Council and ECEL activities, then what we need to do is we will be getting few people from outside and doing some entrepreneurship leadership series. We will be having some panel discussion with venture capitalists. We will be also conducting some workshops on problem worth solving, and then do a competition. We can do some workshop on design thinking and do the competition. We will have some workshops on value proposition and making a minimum viable product. Then what we do is, in the month of October, we will come together and do one activity called as Ask Me Anything, that is Sampark, which will help all the students to understand the ecosystem. In this, we will get all the policy makers, exporters, ECGC, credit giving organizations to talk, and we are also going to have a intra-institute business plan competition, which will be scheduled on the end week of October. Every year we do an international conference. So this year again we will be having an international conference that is going to be on in January this time. So we expect you all to contribute over there, both either by in the form of doing research, submitting case studies, or doing some innovative thinking and coming up with a business plan. And we will be also, along with AIDC, celebrating in the month of October Innovation Week, which is celebrated in our country, and one International Innovation Week, which is celebrated globally in the month of March. So we will be also doing some motivational talks and organizing a boot camp this time for all those students who want to start up on their own. So if you have any idea, or if you know any student who wants to, then from 20th of January, we will start this boot camp every Thursday. We will have for 5 consecutive days and make their idea firm up so that they can start up their own venture. We will always be there with the Innovation Council as Amity Center for Entrepreneurship Development to handhold the students who wish to start up on their own and bring in any innovation. Thank you, Dr. Sujata, for giving me this time to tell all the Innovation Council as well as the students of IIC about the role ACED plays in the institute. And then students, we have e-cells in every institute. You can be a partner over there and take your ideas of Innovation Council along with it forward and organize activities over there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for telling in details about all the activities that we do. Now I request Dr. Ashish Mani, professor and from MIT Innovation and Design Center, to please give insight into the activities of IIC and what is the expectation of from the students. You can also talk about the various councils that we have and how the students can be a part of those councils like Startup Council, Innovation Council, IPR Council, and so on. Or and sir, please you start with the presentation.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the opportunity. Good morning, everyone. May I share my screen?
Yes, sir, sure.
Is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
It's visible.
Yeah. So welcome everybody to Institution Innovation Council of Amity University, which has been formed in association with Ministry of Education's Innovation Council. And Amity Innovation and Design Center is the primary body that's from Amity, which is taking care of Institution Innovation Council, along with the Amity Center of Entrepreneurship Development. So why Institute's Innovation Council? Uh, the genesis of Institute's Innovation Council starts with Ministry of Education, Government of India, which has established MOE's Innovation Cell, known as MIC, to systematically foster the culture of innovation amongst all higher education institutions. The primary mandate of MIC is to encourage and inspire and nurture young students by supporting them to work with new ideas while they are in formative years. MIC has envisioned creation of Institute's Innovation Council across selected HEIs. A network of these IICs will be established to promote innovation in the institution through multitudinous modes, leading to an innovation promotion ecosystem in these campuses. Major focus of IIC is to create a vibrant local innovation ecosystem, startup or entrepreneurship supporting mechanism in higher education institutions, prepare institute for Atal ranking of institutions on innovation achievements framework, ARIA, which is a very popular framework now, establish function ecosystem for scouting ideas and incubation of ideas, develop better cognitive ability amongst all groups of students. So innovation is important for everyone. It's not just that it's important for a select few of us, but for everyone. So functions of Institute's Innovation Council are to conduct various innovation and entrepreneurship related activities prescribed by Central MIC in time-bounded fashion, like what Dr. Neelam Saxena had just discussed, to identify and reward innovations and share success stories, organize periodic workshops, seminars, interactions with entrepreneurs, investors, professionals, and create a mentor pool for student innovators, network with peers and national entrepreneurship development organizations, create an institution's innovation portal to highlight innovative projects carried out by institutions, faculty, and students, organize hackathons, idea competition, mini challenges, etc., with the involvement of industries. So why one should join IIC's network? No major capital investment is required for establishing IIC, as it will make use of existing local ecosystem. Students or faculty associated with IIC will get exclusive opportunity to participate in various innovation related initiatives and competitions organized by MOE. You will be able to win exciting prizes, certificates every month, meet, interact with renowned business leaders and top-notch academicians, opportunity to nurture and prototype new ideas, mentoring by industry professionals, experimentation with new or latest technologies, and you visit new places and learn a new culture. Of course, this was during pre-pandemic era, but now even in pandemic era, we are having some programs where you can do a virtual visit of industries. So major activities which have been held in past, and some of them are still going on. So Smart India Hackathon was conducted in 2020, and for 2021, you should stay tuned for updates. So you can think about submitting your innovations. Toy Hackathon 2021, the results have been announced. So there were 117 winning teams, and 25,000 rupees per winning team was won. Then we had Drug Discovery Hackathon, National Innovation Contest, and we celebrate National Innovation Day also. So we have these leadership talks, as I was referring to some time back. Like Shri Anand Mahindra of Mahindra and Mahindra dealt with how to deal with failures. Then Dr. Anand Deshpande talked on planning for career. Shri Ajit Doval and NSA had discussed about making. They had discussed about then we had workshops like Alexa skill development workshop. We had mentoring sessions by our ex alumni or our alumni who are now into entrepreneurship and our startup founders. Then we had competitive programming hackathon. Then we had Ordino workshops. Similarly, we have workshops on social entrepreneurship and innovation. Then we had design thinking workshop, And we also discussed about 3D printing in a workshop. So we have been organizing ME hacks and innovative idea competitions. In past, we have also organized InCube Amity, which is an innovation idea competition. Then we also held in pre-pandemic times industry visits to various incubators as well as to select industries. These are some of the innovative products which have been developed by our past students. So you can see we have developed several different types of products, not just those based on IoT or AI ML, but also based on design. So we are trying to cater to the university, not just to engineering or engineering and technology domain. So we expect the entire university to benefit from our initiatives in innovation and entrepreneurship. So for more details, you can visit our website at www.amity.edu AIDC. You can visit our Facebook page. You can visit our Twitter page. So, so this is all about Institution Innovation Council. We have also organized several student council, like the most popular one was Startup Council in the last session. Then we also had IPR and Innovation Council. Then we have Social Media Council. So we encourage students to join these councils in leadership roles so that we can reach out to maximum number of students possible in the university. Our goal is that we have about 35,000 students on our campus. So we should have some kind of connect with all the 35,000 students, which is a very large number. And so far, maybe we have not been able to penetrate more than 20% of them. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my views. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ashish Mani sir, for such informative session and presentation for our students. In addition, what sir has told, we are go in a process to float the nominations for these leadership roles, which sir was talking about, the student council, which reformed every year, last year also, and all of you will be invited to fill those nominations soon in the WhatsApp group that you have joined. So please be in that group, do not leave that. Now, if any student have any query, they can ask. Okay. So
Can be
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now I would like to call Dr. Mahua, one of our innovation mentor, to share her words of wisdom to our students. Mahua, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, madam. I would like to first of all thank Sujata ma'am and Nilam madam for jointly taking this effort forward. And Ekta madam is something. Ekta, as the name says, she unites the entire. She bonds. She keeps the bond between everything. And she recently was joined us also for a session. But this is something which was very highly required, madam, to have a common platform, where students from all the institutes will be having a multidisciplinary commercial research and commercial platform to get some products done and some business motive. So this is something which, because whenever I said student that IIC, they were quite skeptical. I'm so good. I'm so happy with the Saxena madam's lecture or the introduction which she said. She very quick aptly actually related that entrepreneurships and the marriage between the entrepreneurship and innovation. That is actually true. And regarding activities, we are also growing up actually under the leadership of Institute Innovation Council, Sujata Madam and Neelam Madam, and we are constantly innovating and coming up with new activities and all. So I believe that what is most important with student is that uh, they are still to the environment of creating new product, going into business. They have something in their mind, but kuch jhijak hoti hai ki that job is much more safer. It's true because it's not true, but in family you get that vibes that but this innovation platform has actually, by which what happened, our lot of students came out and they are taking very active role. Recently we conducted a workshop also on digital marketing, because I felt that this is something which is very important. And beside this, I find that students first of all should get themselves gelled in. So I suggest, madam, the way we have formed this common platform, we also should have some common activities for all the students. So it might not be only centered around the business plan making and all those kind of things, but some common activity in which they will learn to work together in team. Not only economic students working with economic students working with computer student, technology students working with pharma students working with food technology. Then only I think, and I'm so glad, I'm thankful to our VC madam also, who had this vision and guided us to have this common platform and get 10 council members from each institute. I wish all of you, all of us, including myself, that good luck, that we will be able to work together, obviously under the leadership of Sujata madam and guidance of Neelam madam and Ekta madam. Will be combining all of us together. So thank you so much. And I know that we have got many activities to come up. And thank you so much, madam, for giving me the chance to speak. And I hope that our this united effort will really bring us color. And we are already into Atal ranking. We reached a level, but now, sir, madam always keeps higher and higher target. So we have to achieve that target as Sujata madam has given us. So we need students' participation and students' coordination. And I'm glad that this committee and this team will help us together to achieve this. Thank you so much, madam. And wish all of us good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mahua ma'am, for such a very nice praise for me, first of all, and your words of wisdom for our students and for our council members also. Now our guest speaker for today's workshop is here, Mr. Nilesh Maurya. So Sujata ma'am, with your permission, should I start the workshop?
Yes, Ekta, you can start with. And it's a very important workshop, because normally what happens is that when we talk of entrepreneurship, initially the students are quite reluctant, but when they get to know that entrepreneurship is a career now, it is not different. It is not different from the general stream. It is a part of the general stream, and you can opt entrepreneurship as your career goal as well. So it's very important workshop. And if you have any queries and all, you can speak to the speaker. And if you have any doubts, you can also clear it. So the students, please take benefit of this workshop and clear all your doubts and all from our esteemed speaker. So welcome to Amity University, Mr. Nilesh Maurya. So we are very thankful to you for spending a Saturday afternoon actually with us. So Ekta, you please give a brief introduction of our speaker and we can start with.
Thank you. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as we are gathered here on this Saturday afternoon, I, Ekta, on behalf of Amity Innovation and Design Center, AIDC, and Institutions Innovation Council, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, extend a very warm welcome to all the esteemed dignitaries, fellow faculty members, and our dear students in workshop on entrepreneurship and innovation as career opportunity. We are indebted to our Honorable Founder President Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan and Honorable President RBEF and Chancellor Amity University Uttar Pradesh Dr. Atul Chauhan, who have always encouraged students and faculty to strive higher and work towards their goal. It is because of their vision that Amity University is one of the leading universities in the world. We are highly privileged to be mentored by our Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla. She has always been a source of constant motivation and a pillar of strength to all of us. I take immense pleasure in introducing our guest speaker for today, Mr. Nilesh Maurya, Director Investment Banking at Omega Capital Consultants. Mr. Maurya has done graduation from University of Mumbai, and he is an alumni also. He did his MBA from MIT University. Mr. Maurya has experience of more than 15 years in the field of entrepreneurship. So now I would like to call Mr. Nilesh Maurya to share his insights and knowledge with our students.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sujata. Thank you, Ekta, ma'am. Firstly, thank you for welcoming me, but I mean, it's no more a welcome. It's more like a home because I come from the same university. And that's the reason it gives me immense pleasure to speak to our young minds and probably help them in understanding what guidance we did not have at that time. I mean, our guidance was very much different because when I did my MBA, we were amidst a very different crisis, which was the economic crisis. So, our tensions regarding placements, jobs were at a different level because no one knew what was happening. Uh, as well as when that crisis hit us, it was really different in terms of because no one knew what's going to happen in terms of economics. But now, and again, the time has been such that 12 years later, we are into a similar situation where the crisis has come back to us. It's time changing, it's time defining in its own ways because at least our century hasn't seen something like how should we deal with pandemic. Every time we raise our head up and we say that we've defeated the enemy, it somehow springs back to us. So yes, I mean, when ma'am, I received your email when Sakit sir told me, I was very much excited of taking up this topic because yes, it's going to be defining. I mean, in the next few years that you see, India is at a very different trajectory, different cusp where we've been able to, our education system has been able to uh, take up more of risk takers than what we used to be even 10 years back. Our students are very lucky to be in this phase that they have been exposed to already so many startups, which have become multi-billion dollar, where we did not have any case studies back then. I mean, when I was doing my MBA, the only e-commerce case study that we have was Amazon and Flipkart was also just taking up at that time. Uh, yeah. So as we are, like I said, as we are into changing times, I have a presentation, but I would want to not touch it till the time it's exceptionally necessary. I wanted our conversation to be more uh, about discussion because no one knows how the future is going to come out of, how things are going to look like, whether we are facing a third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, whether this is the last pandemic, whether we are about to get another one in some years soon, or what is going to happen. But definitely it is changing the perspective, the way the world sees. The world has become more and more agile, more and more dynamic in terms of adapting. If many of you would be students last year, I'm expecting the change that came, and no one thought that the whole Indian education system will be run from home. I mean, even till 2 3 years back, we never considered an online degree to be a degree. And when you go out to apply jobs, when you go out for anything in the market, people used to say, "अरे तुम्हारी तो online degree है, तुम क्या मतलब तुमने क्या ही पढ़ा होगा." But suddenly the education system has come to a standstill that everyone has to work work from home, take classes from home, take meetings, or offices have become all online. And that's where you realize the power of innovation that has come into the game, and why that innovation is going to play out, and how it is going to play out, what it is going to change, and why do we need more entrepreneurs now. It's very important, and especially for a country like India, which suddenly found its trajectory to be halted, the growth trajectory to be halted. And slowly and steadily, you'll see that a lot of government programs, a lot of emphasis from education sector also is coming towards entrepreneurship, because unless it's not, I mean, unless we are not able to drive ourselves very, very close to how US Silicon Valley has done or something like that, it's going to be really, really difficult to rely on age-old technologies and age-old sectors to keep on pushing your growth, keep on giving you those service sector growths, keep on giving you those manufacturing growths. So yeah, that is a slightly brief commentary. I mean, I just thought of getting you guys acquainted with what it is happening and how things are phasing out before we actually dive into the main topic and understand how innovation and maybe technology is changing. I mean, fitting it into the changing times that are currently in front of us. Yes. Ma'am, can I share my screen?
Yes, please share it. I think the option is available. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So, guys, as we speak about it, is what we are speaking about is, uh, you know, even today when I meet hundreds and hundreds of new entrepreneurs every day, because that's part of my job and how I should be doing things, and understanding what is happening. The ecosystem is changing at a drastic speed. By the time most of you will graduate out of your colleges, you'll realize that the whole scenario that you read in your read in your textbook or was stimulated in your classrooms has completely changed. It doesn't look like to be the same world that you might come out in a year and a half. Although we speak about going back to normal, it's still not. अगर आप खुद की आपकी लाइफस्टाइल देखेंगे तो कितने कुछ चेंजेस आ चुके हैं ऑलरेडी. Like when the restaurants are off, you've already seen the food deliveries picking up, which is again a part of innovation. I'm sure most of us use Paytm and Google Pay to do most of our transactions now. That's fintech, again a part of innovation. If you, अगर आपने पिछले 1.5 साल में थिएटर में जाके पिक्चर देखी है तो आप काफी खुश नसीब हैं, क्योंकि ऐसा बहुतों के साथ नहीं हुआ है. So again, you have Netflix, you have Hotstar. That is part of entertainment innovation. अगर आपने पिछले 1.5 साल में कैंपस का चेहरा देखा है तो फिर आप खुश नहीं. आई एम नॉट स्पीकिंग अबाउट द फैकल्टी, हमारी मजबूरी है, वरना स्टूडेंट्स की बात कर रहा हूँ कि अगर आपने वो चेहरा देखा है तो आप बहुत बहुत ग्रेटफुल हैं, वरना हमारी जिंदगी जूम और MS टीम्स के बाहर रह नहीं पाई है काफ़ी. अगेन दैट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ एजुकेशन. इफ़ यू आर सीइंग दैट, अगर आपने कोविड पे अपनी वैक्सीनेशन के रजिस्ट्रेशन कराए हैं, so that forms part of your health tech and M-tech, which is your mobile health and your health tech. Maybe this is the way tomorrow you are going to. अगर आपने प्रैक्टो का नाम सुना है, प्रैक्टो एग्जैक्टली यही चीज़ करता है, जो आपको आपके डॉक्टर्स के साथ अपॉइंटमेंट सेटअप करने देता है, फॉलोअप सेटअप करने देता है, which is again part of health tech. So these are all small bits and pieces which are big enough, you know. I mean, आज से 5-6 साल पहले ये सारी चीजें शायद किसी ने सुनी नहीं थी, शायद किसी को पता नहीं थी, but now it is becoming part of our mainstream. And believe me, there are, if I'm speaking of one practo, there are already 100 practos which are out there doing some bit of or the other of how things have to function or how medical has to become easier, whether it's on the insurance side, whether it's on the vaccination side, whether it's on anything. अगर आप देख रहे हैं, अगर if you've read it, Bollywood also has changed completely. Now the content is more driven towards OTT. अगर आप में से कुछ लोग बिग बॉस देखते हैं तो खुशी मनाइए, 1-2 दिन में बिग बॉस OTT पे आने वाला है. So that's the kind of change that we are seeing, and all of this is driven by innovation and entrepreneurship up to an extent. Because अगर आप कोई एक बड़ी कंपनी में जॉब कर रहे थे तो आपके पास ये सोच लाने के अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत कम हो जाती है. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट दोज आर नॉट प्रेजेंट, but those are very limited because you are hassled up with your day-to-day activities. So all this brainchild, all this work that is happening, all this innovation cradle that we speak about is being driven by entrepreneurship in its own way. And now when we speak about the next normal, अगर आप पहले सुनते होंगे तो काफी सारी चीजें हिस्ट्री में ऐसे बोली जाती थी कि it's before Christ and it's after Christ. But now in the business industry, we have already started speaking about something with known as BC is now before Corona, and AD is become AC, and it's like after Corona. So everything is being matched about how things used to be before Corona and how things are happening post Corona. And that's what we are speaking about, the next normal. While most of the things are expected to return back to how they used to be before March 2020 or before say in 2019, most of things will come back. I'm not saying कि कल से आपके सारे थिएटर बंद हो जाएंगे या आपके सारे एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑनलाइन हो जाएंगे, बट यस उसका जो कंपोनेंट है वो कहीं ना कहीं आपको दिखने लगेगा कि ये चीजें भी साथ में को एग्जिस्ट करने लगेंगी. Whether it's about going to your offices, maybe work from homes might increase. अगर आप फॉरेन कंपनीज को पढ़ रहे हैं तो जापान, फॉरेन कंट्रीज एंड फॉरेन कंपनीज को आप देख रहे हैं तो गूगल इज ऑलरेडी स्पीकिंग अबाउट हैविंग अ 4-day work week. Japan is already implementing certain aspects of it to see on how things are going to phase out and how it is going to look in the days to come. And that's what I call it, the next normal. I mean, this is not a term coined by me, but yes, this is how the next normal is going to be. What was new for most of us, maybe the generations to come will find it as their way of life. Just a second. Yeah, is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So what Corona has done to all of us, we've started working from home. A lot of us, even if we are going offices, like even I have started my offices, but I go 3 days and 3 days I am working from home. There are no in-person meetings. Meetings between persons have stopped because the trust factor is suddenly gone. आपको नहीं पता आपके conference room में कौन बैठा हुआ है, whether he's carrying a corona virus or not. So people are still very scared about. I mean, things are still opening up, but people are very scared. No travel, whether it's domestic or international. It's very. I mean, अगर लोग फ्लाइट और कॉमन शेयर्ड ट्रांसपोर्ट को कम यूज कर रहे हैं आज भी, क्योंकि अगेन द ट्रस्ट फैक्टर इज सडनली मिसिंग आउट. देयर इज डेफिनेटली सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, ऑल्दो हम इंडियंस इस कॉन्सेप्ट में ज़्यादा बिलीव नहीं करते हैं, बट काफ़ी जगह पे इसे स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो किया जा रहा है. Food is becoming critical. Everyone has suddenly started speaking about organic nutrition, keep yourself healthy. Travel, like I said, is becoming more individualistic. If you are reading recently about Ola, in fact, आज मेरे talk चालू करने के पहले Ola ने announce किया कि, I mean, they were working on electric vehicle, but it's getting live sooner. So, people don't want to spend a huge money going alone in the cabs. They have a better option of taking up a bike or something like that way, which is much easier and much simpler, much less exposed. And social gatherings have gone for a toss. If you have attended weddings of your cousins, friends, it's now 50 people. So a lot of the fancy business around gatherings and social gatherings have come to a standstill. I know so many of wedding planners who suddenly had to shut shop. क्योंकि क्या करें, अब Zoom पे शादियां हो रही हैं. So it's becoming very difficult. People who have invested a lot of money into real estate around banquet halls and all, suddenly for 1.5 years they've been completely dry. If you go and study the market, most of these places are even available at 20% of the cost what it was at pre-pandemic. So it's taking a kind of a toss somewhere or the other. So why is this a next normal? Is it life changing? Is it life altering? I will say yes. I mean, and most of us will not disagree with it. क्योंकि जो चीजें मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बताई, इन्होंने हमारी लाइफ को completely change कर दिया है. this if you there was a conference a couple of months back which I was a part of, where we were speaking about economic pandemic, how economics is changing. I mean, I was an audience. It was a very, you had economists from the World Bank and other places, but there were certain snippets which, you know, I noted in my diary and which I thought of. I'll put it on the slide. Jeremy Ferrer, who's the director of Wellcome Trust, one of the biggest non-profit making trust in the UK, said this infection is not going to disappear without science leading us to vaccines, and we will get second and third waves of this. So he said, even if the vaccines come out, even if you are completely vaccinated, uh, you are always going to face second waves, third waves of, you'll keep on hearing this. It's not ending anywhere. काफी सारी चीजों को, जैसे आपने पोलियो को इराडिकेट कर दिया, बट बहुत सारी चीजें आज भी ऐसी हैं, जैसे कि आपका जॉन्डिस हो गया, चिकन पॉक्स, which don't go, but you now have enough medication that they are not deadly enough to you. So corona might suddenly become something like that way, that it might not be deadly enough. You will have enough medication to it, but it is not going anywhere. And you will have to keep enough precautions which are there, which are which you have followed, maybe not that stringently, but you will have to keep following them up to a certain period of time, which on the hindsight means that all the innovation that you have adapted in previous 1.5 year is also going to stay as part of your life. आज अगर आपके पास स्विगी या जोमेटो है, these guys are offering you deliveries from more than 10 kilometers, which initially was 3 to 5 kilometers. अब अगर आपको, आप जैसे, I understand most of you might be from the Delhi NCR region. If you are staying in Noida and if you are getting a food delivery from Delhi, why wouldn't you opt for it rather than going there and eating it? So that's something which is something which is going to stay. So if the virus is staying, the business models that we have seen are also going to stay. Like I said, the new timeline is before Corona. Corona time is something that we are following it right now. And once we have complete vaccination, we know that no more waves are going to lead us to more deaths of people. We will call that time after Corona. The broader story, this is how each of the sector was impacted and how long is the impact going to be there. Drugs, pharma, things were very moderate. इतना ज़्यादा उन पे impact नहीं हुआ, और recovery भी short term में है. Livestock is something which was very severely impacted, which is your poultry business and other businesses. Again, it's going to be short term. Retail, non-food, लोगों ने fridges, washing machines को उतना ज़्यादा नहीं खरीदा पिछले साल, क्योंकि there were two reasons to it. पहली चीजें available नहीं थी. Secondly, people weren't aware about how their incomes are going to phase out. But again, that is something which is going to be very, very short term. Once things resumed up or opened up, you might have seen the sales going up. Logistics was severely hit, international logistics, but again, that has come back more or less to life. Automotive is again, which was hit very, very high. It's still, I mean, although recoveries have started seeing it, but it's still very, very distant. Entertainment, outdoor, अगर आपको पता है पिछले 1.5 साल से hardly we had 15 days when the theaters were open. I mean, at least here in Mumbai, हमारे पास 15 दिन से ज़्यादा हमने theaters को open नहीं देखा. But even if they were open, there were no feature films that were there which could be put forward. Banking impacted again high because loan moratorium and all was given, but the impact of recovery there is also pretty distant. Gems and jewelry, again, it was a sector which was hit. Tourism was hit. Hospitality was hit. Electronics were hit. MSMEs were very difficult. There were so many companies, if you have heard, have closed down. Startups who could survive. I mean, it was practically survival of the fittest. Whoever was fit survived. Whoever wasn't. The reason this slides makes sense is because wherever the recovery period is longer, you will see that most of the technology and innovation is being implemented there. अगर आप gems and jewelries के बात करते हैं, तो there are platforms like Bluestone now which offer you gems and jewelries online. They even allow you trials there. Banking, which is about fintech, which I already spoke about. Tourism, I mean, it's still pretty much stuck. I mean, we don't know how technology is going to play game in that. Electronics, media is something which I already told you about, how OTT and things have come up. So yes, we all are discovering how the new normal is, where innovation can play in, where innovation can't play out. Again, coming from the same conference, the UN Deputy Secretary General for Medicine, she made a comment that we have moved to a recession that will be, worse than the one we experienced in 2008. Exactly the two periods that I compared at the start of my talk was 2008 was more of economic. At least हमें पता था कि economy को recover किया जा सकता है. What do you do against an enemy which is invisible? आप उससे कैसे लड़ सकते हो? आपके पास अगर वैक्सीनेशन हो चुकी है आपकी, तो भी आपको पता है आप सिक्योर नहीं हो, आपको प्रिकॉशंस लेने हैं, आपको चीजों को समझना है, आपको जीने के अपने नजरिए, अपने तरीकों को बदलना ही है. Again, why jobs became unsecure? Suddenly you saw that everyone was being laid off. People wanted to cut costs. India wasn't a very big implementer of technology and innovation क्योंकि we were a labor dense. हमारे पास बहुत population है, हम सबको काम दे सकते हैं, automation की हमें जरूरत नहीं है. But अब ऐसा समय आ गया जहां पे आपको automation रखना ही पड़ा, and that replaced a lot of labor, which led to unemployment. That's the reason, people who are in jobs also suddenly started saying, no, let's look towards entrepreneurship. It's a medium, it's a motive where, you can at least earn a livelihood. So what started with a, forced job loss suddenly became an opportunity for people to look towards entrepreneurship and innovation as their next guiding light, or maybe as their next way to earn their livelihood. So where are the new jobs? I mean, I have put it in the jobs term, but this is what I was telling you about. Where is the innovation going to come in? How the economies look like? Why is entrepreneurship becoming more prominent? Is it survival? Yes, it's survival. Everyone is doing that for survival. If it's not, because now it's a time where you'll see a lot of people who will come down and say that, "Arey, मैंने passionately कुछ चालू कर लिया था." It's become more of a force thing. It's about more. People are expected to look at these things in a very, very forced manner in terms of understanding how businesses run. Some of the questions that need an answer is the brick and mortar things of the past. अगर सब चीज e-commerce हो जाएगी तो आपके malls के साथ क्या होगा? अगर लोगों ने घूमना बंद कर दिया तो आपके hotels के साथ क्या होगा? अगर लोगों ने ऑफिस जाना बंद कर दिया तो आपके पास, चाहे वो आपके एज ओल्ड ऑफिसेस थे, अगर आपने सुना होगा तो काफी सारे कंपनीज ने अपने बड़े बड़े कॉर्पोरेट पार्क्स को दे दिया है. They all which were leased out, they said कि we don't want anything of these. Is it end to the co-working or the co-sharing space? Hello? Yeah. Is it end to the co-working or the co-sharing space? What 2008 gave us was a co-working industry. चाहे आपके Airbnbs हो, चाहे आपके ओलास, उबर्स हो, जहाँ पे लोगों ने बोला कि हमें एक साथ सारी चीजों में इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना है, बट हमें सब चीज वी कैन कम एंड कोलैबोरेट एंड डू इट एट अ को-वर्किंग लेवल. बट अगेन नाउ व्हेन यू डोंट ट्रस्ट पीपल, अगर आपको नहीं पता कि आपके वी वर्क में या आपके ओला में आपके साथ जो बैठा है वो अब सेफ है कि नहीं, और वेदर ही इज कैरिंग एनी वायरस और नॉट, it becomes really, really difficult for you to understand. And those business models are also changing now. Will supply chain shorten the middleman? अगर आप जाके देखते हैं, ITC ने खुद की वेबसाइट डाल दी है, which is called the ITC store. Britannia has come up with a website of its own where you can order from there. Smaller players like Epigamia and others have come up with their own website, which is significantly destroying the supply chain. आज आप, अगर आपकी कंपनी, there's a sector which is altogether come in, which is known as direct to consumer. आप उसकी वेबसाइट पे जाके अप्लाई करते हैं, आप उसके वेबसाइट पे जाके परचेज करते हैं और वो चीज आपके घर आ जाती है, which ends the middleman channel which we are speaking about. There's no wholesaler, there's no retailer, there's just the company and the consumer. And believe me, in India, the middleman or the retailer, the wholesaler, it's a big, big chunk of employment. इतने सारे jobs line पे हैं that people don't know what to do now. These are certain characteristics that has happened and which has changed our life completely. People have started spending most of their time home. अगर आपके पास OTT है, अगर आपके घर पे डिलीवरी हो रही है, अगर आपके जॉब्स घर पे हैं, तो लोग बाहर कम निकल रहे हैं. comparatively अगर आप आपकी life में भी देखेंगे तो you are moving less out than what you used to. People are investing time in health. There is a lot of time now going towards health because we don't know when is the next pandemic coming into or what is going to happen. How is it changing our lifestyle? In terms of food, people are going for more nutritious, more organic food, more, you know, direct to home food, relying less on, you know, those unbranded products which are there, or even in terms of medicines, people are okay to take in, you know, healthier medicines, healthier food supplements. A nutraceutical is coming out in a big manner. People will consume more of internet entertainment and information. अगर आप इसके पहले, I mean not the youngsters or the students because we were anyways media frenzy, but अगर आप आपके पेरेंट्स से बात करेंगे, आपके बड़े भाई बहन है उनसे बात करेंगे, तो आप सडनली उनसे रियलाइज करेंगे कि उनके जो छोटे रिचार्ज होते थे वो सडनली बड़े हो गए हैं, क्योंकि अब घर बैठे हैं तो करे क्या, सब हर कोई नेटफ्लिक्स पे लगा हुआ है या हर कोई अमेजॉन प्राइम ये चीज़ों को कंज्यूम कर रहा है, या वीडियो कॉल्स बढ़ गए हैं ऑडियो कॉल्स की जगह पे. इसलिए अगर आप आपके व्हाट्सएप ये सब में देखेंगे तो सब में फीचर आ गया है कि यू कैन नाउ वीडियो कॉल, कम कोलैबोरेट and do things like that. So suddenly the internet consumption has gone up, and it's for both entertainment as well as information. If your offices are going to be online, then what are you going to do? Is exactly this. People have no choice but they have to go digital now. आप क्या करोगे? अगर आपका ऑफिस आपको बोलता है आपको ऑनलाइन रहना है तो आपको ऑनलाइन रहना है. You can do nothing of it. Lesser public transport, more of private. People have started investing in small cars rather than big ones. Ola, Uber suddenly had taken up a hit last year because people weren't doing it. Search pricing एक टाइम के लिए बंद हो गया था क्योंकि लोग ट्रैवल ही नहीं कर रहे थे. पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट अभी भी हिंडर्ड है, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें. जैसे आई कैन गिव यू एग्जांपल ऑफ मुंबई. हमारे लिए लोकल ट्रेन अभी भी नॉर्मल पब्लिक के लिए चालू नहीं हुए हैं, सिर्फ असेंशियल के लिए चालू है. आई थिंक दैट वाज द केस विद दिल्ली मेट्रो एज वेल, बट नाउ आई थिंक थिंग्स आर मच बेटर देन व्हाट Mumbai is doing. People will travel less. There is going to be less of tourism. I myself was a frequent traveler more for work, but suddenly in last 1 year my work has, I mean my travels have come completely to standstill because everything now can happen online. Why do you need to go? शायद अगर आज ये opportunity होती तो ये lecture in person हो रहा होता, and I wouldn't have been the speaker because I'm here in Mumbai. But आपका आपका खुश नसीब है कि बदनसीब है पता नहीं, ये हमको ये सेशन के बाद तक शायद पता चल जाएगा. बट yes, this is the true reality. Suddenly, you know, the economy has become such where talent is no more hindered by boundaries. अगर मुझे कोई बंदा जापान में एक डिज़ाइन इंटर्न पसंद आता है तो मैं उसे हायर कर सकता हूँ क्योंकि काम सारे ऑनलाइन हो चुके हैं अभी. Like I spoke about previously, this is a Chinese proverb where Chinese is a very symbolic language. अगर आप Amity में Mandarin पढ़ रहे हैं तो आपने ये चीज़ को काफ़ी अच्छे से देखा होगा, where crisis is derived by two words or two symbolic words. One is known as the first part. अगर आप ये दोनों वर्ड को साथ में पढ़ते हैं तो it means crisis, but अगर उसका फर्स्ट पार्ट आप पढ़ेंगे तो फर्स्ट पार्ट इज डेंजर एंड सेकेंड पार्ट इज अपॉर्चुनिटी, which says that every crisis that you come forward with, it has its own danger. जो स्टार्टिंग में चीज़ें डर लगती हैं वो आगे जाके अपॉर्चुनिटी बन जाती हैं. And that's what exactly innovation and entrepreneurship is doing it right now for everyone. जिन लोगों को, अगर आप आज से 2 साल पहले अपने पेरेंट्स को या ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को आप बोलते कि अरे वीडियो कॉल करना है तो उनके लिए होता अरे बाप रे ये जूम कैसे यूज़ करना है, या अगर आपने आपके पेरेंट्स से बात की है तो उनको ऐसे होता था अरे टेक्नोलॉजी पावर पॉइंट कैसे बनाएंगे, हमने तो जीवन भर फाइल और बुक्स में लिखा है, ये चीज़ें कैसे फंक्शन करेंगी, वो कैसे होगा. बट सडनली एवरीथिंग इज कम बैक to digitization and every one of us has adapted to it because we were left with no choice. I had so many of my friends who used to tell me यार हम तो movies theater में ही दिखते हैं. अब पिछले 1.5 साल से एक जन ने थिएटर का चेहरा भी नहीं देखा है. We had so many people who used to say यार I need at least one break every year to go to international travel or something like that. And none of them has happened because we were forced to make decisions that have changed our life forever now. So what happens in entrepreneurship, and this is a slightly advanced if you are looking at it as a student, but if you actually have the entrepreneurial mindset, this is exactly what is happening. How do you make all the 6 life changes that I spoke to you about in my previous slide, or many parts of my presentation till now? Each of them has a very, very significance in terms of how innovation is playing out and how you can draw a complete new business out of it. Opportunities for startups to support tools that work from home. जो work from home हो चुका है उसके लिए काफी सारे ऐसे tools आ गए हैं जो आपको घर पे रह के काम करने में आसानी दे रहे हैं, तो आप उनके अराउंड businesses या innovation ला सकते हैं. Software companies suddenly have gone more collaborative software. Google Drive जैसी चीजें हैं, मतलब there are very advanced one, but Google Drive is the basic example where on one document many people can work together. Cloud services has come in, gig economy, which is again the freelance economy. Now no one wants to work full time. Instead, you work on 4, 5, 6 things. There's something now known as, I mean, I was also stunned, but in Korea, I was speaking to one of my fellow colleagues there, and he said that in one of these conferences, and he's like, slowly everything is coming out to be like employee as a service. मतलब आज कंपनीज आपको हायर नहीं करेंगी, आप उनके पास अपनी सर्विसेज दीजिए, आपका प्रोजेक्ट खत्म होता है, आप वापस आ जाइए और आप उसके लिए उसको चार्ज कर लीजिए. दैट स्टॉप्स यू, दैट अलाउज यू टू ओपन अप अपॉर्चुनिटीज कि आप शायद एक कंपनी के साथ आपको सालों साल बिताने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप उनसे प्रोजेक्ट टू प्रोजेक्ट बेसिस पे काम कीजिए एंड यू गेट हैंडसमली पेड फॉर इट एज वेल. अगर आप लोगों में से काफ़ी ये हैं, I mean, this is something which I used to do when I was doing my MBA. I was good in making presentations. So there used to be a lot of these websites now which have taken a formal shape, something like a Fiverr or something. If you are a graphic designer, you know, you can just go upload your work and you'll be paid for just that amount of work. So yes, that's happening. Again, EdTech sector is something picking up because everything is going virtual. So if you can draw businesses around how e-libraries would work, or you know how virtual teaching would be facilitated much better than what Zoom is providing, or you know bring in how assessment can be better. The biggest problem, even most of the faculty members, and I have taken a few lectures, so I can count myself lucky to be called in that category of being a faculty member. My biggest tension always has been that how do I evaluate students, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं पता उसके स्क्रीन पे क्वेश्चन पेपर के अलावा और क्या क्या खुला है. तो आई मीन चिट्स तो छोड़िए, अब तो बुक की बुक आ सकती है पूरी. तो that's something there. तो अगर आपने सुना एक there's a software which is coming called as Metal, METTL. It's a browser which doesn't allow, अगर आप उसका टैब चेंज करेंगे तो आपके एग्जाम रुक देगा, या अगर वो कैमरा 24 टाइम, मतलब जब तक आपके एग्जाम ऑन है वो चालू रहता है, अगर आपका आई बॉल हल्का सा भी मूव हुआ कैमरा से या स्क्रीन से तो वो आपकी एग्जाम रोक देता है. सो दैट्स अगेन इनोवेशन एंड विच इज वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल. आई मीन आपके मेरे लिए शायद उतना नहीं हो, बट जो कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स होती हैं वहाँ पे शायद उसकी इवैल्यूएशन काफ़ी महत्वपूर्ण हो जाती है. When healthcare becomes priority, I already spoke to you about how innovation is happening in healthcare. प्रोडक्ट आ चुका है, आपकी फार्मेसीज ऑनलाइन जा चुकी हैं, काफ़ी सारी अभी धीरे धीरे चीज़ें ऐसी आ रही हैं कि you can actually book up your appointments and the doctor will evaluate from a distance itself. मतलब एटलीस्ट जो evaluation कर सकते हैं वो विदाउट टच, विदाउट इसके हो जाएगा, आपको घर के बाहर निकल के. और ये सब के पीछे guys, there's a lot of thing which is known as analytics. इतना सारा डेटा आप समझ रहे हैं, अगर आप जैसे ही एक वेबसाइट पे जाते हैं आप आपके कदम वहां छोड़ आते हैं, which is known as your footprint onto the digital world. Whether you are going on Netflix, what are you picking, all this is creating hundreds and billions of terabytes of data every day. So what do you do with so much of data? That's where, अगर आपने आपके faculty members को सुना होगा, महुआ मैम इसके पहले बात कर रही थी regarding marketing and data analytics, is all about this. आप अगर ये चीजों को समझेंगे, पहले गाड़ियां बनी, गाड़ियों को ठीक करने के लिए मैकेनिक बने, कपड़े बने, कपड़ों को ठीक करने के लिए फिर स्पेशलाइज्ड वॉशिंग कंपनीज आई, 5 नाम की, आपकी प्रेस्टो, ज्वेलरीज बनी तो ज्वेलरीज को रिपेयर करने के लिए, आपके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स बनी तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स को रिपेयर करने के लिए चीजें बनी। यही चीज डेटा के साथ है। अगर इतना सारा डेटा बन जाएगा तो उसको यूज करने के लिए आपको उसको अलाइन करना पड़ेगा, विच इज नथिंग एल्स बट डेटा एनालिटिक्स। आज अगर आप गूगल पे सर्च करते हैं तो गूगल पे अगर आपको 5.5 सेकेंड में कोई आंसर आता है, क्योंकि उसके पीछे डेटा एनालिटिक्स की टीम बैठी है जो उसको वैसे अलाइन करती है कि आप उसे ऐसे ढूंढेंगे तो आपको ये चीज मिल जाएगी। That's the reason a lot of our faculty members, a lot of our course materials is building around this. और अगर इतना सारा डेटा बनेगा, मतलब इतनी सारी फाइलें बन गई, इतनी सारी ये बन गई, तो इसे प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए आपको सिक्योरिटी की भी जरूरत होगी, विच इज नोन एज साइबर सिक्योरिटी। अगर आप में से कोई एमटेक, बीटेक या कंप्यूटर साइंस का स्टूडेंट है तो आपके फैकल्टीज आपको उस तरफ पुश करते हैं, ये बिजनेस वाले हम जैसे लोग आपको एनालिटिक्स की तरफ पुश करते हैं, because these are going to be the two important things. How are you going to protect your data? How are you going to protect your identity? All has to be happen through tech. Entertainment is changing, which I already spoke to you about. Internationally, there are a lot of platforms. I was working with a company called OOH, which is now bringing worldwide theater and opera. अपने यहाँ इतना नहीं होता, but Italy ये सब side में opera is a very big industry. They are trying to bring opera at OTT. और ऑनलाइन, और प्लेज एट ऑनलाइन। यू नो द प्ले इंडस्ट्री जिसको काफ़ी निगलेक्टेड, बॉलीवुड की वजह से काफ़ी कुछ निगलेक्ट हो गया था, अब वो भी ऑनलाइन आना शुरू हो चुकी है। ईटिंग हेल्दी, आई डोंट नीड टू स्पीक मच अबाउट इट, बट देर आर कॉन्सेप्ट्स लाइक मॉक मीट कमिंग इन, क्योंकि लोगों ने वेजिटेरियनिज्म की तरफ बढ़ना शुरू कर दिया है। अब आपके पास मॉक मीट आते हैं जो आपके वेजिटेरियन, टेक्सचर उनका नॉन वेज जैसा होता है बट वो वेजिटेरियन होते हैं। डेयरी सेक्टर इज चेंजिंग बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर नाउ मूविंग टुवर्ड्स हैविंग नट मिल्क, ओट मिल्क, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें आ रही हैं। ऑल्दो ये बहुत छोटी हैं बट यू नो हाउ थिंग्स वर्क आउट, ये कब बड़ी बन जाएंगी हम नहीं जानते। लॉजिस्टिक्स इज बिकमिंग वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। जैसे मैंने डेटा एनालिटिक्स के बारे में बात की थी, लॉजिस्टिक्स अगेन इज अ बिग सेक्टर फॉर अपकमिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और इवन स्टूडेंट्स टू लर्न अबाउट, क्योंकि अगर सब चीज़ को घर पे डिलीवर करना है तो आपको लॉजिस्टिक्स की बहुत ज़रूरत है। अगर आपने गूगल मैप्स देखा है तो गूगल मैप्स आपको मेन रोड तक ले आता है। अगर आप एमिटी भी सर्च करेंगे, द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल आई गिव यू, अगर आप एमिटी नोएडा सर्च करेंगे तो आपको गेट नंबर 4 या गेट नंबर 1 तक गूगल लेके आता है। उसके बाद एमिटी ने परमिशन दी हुई है कि आपको स्ट्रीट व्यू में कैंपस दिख जाता है, but that is not possible because we are a big university. We can still have a Google car moving inside, but काफ़ी जगह पे आपको which is known as the last mile delivery. और अगर आप सोच रहे हैं और सुन रहे हैं कि रोबोटिक्स आने वाला है, रोबोट्स आर गोइंग टू डू डिलीवरी और ड्रोन्स आर गोइंग टू डिलीवरी, आप एक मशीन से बात कर रहे हैं जिसको अगर आपने करेक्ट एड्रेस नहीं दिया तो वो रास्ते में टकरा जाएगी। So how do you make things optimized that it reaches your this thing? That's another topic because we are not, I'm not sure how much of the audience understands robotics or last mile delivery, but logistics is again a place where innovation is coming up in a big way. And then your digital wallet and your digital currency, which is something, not digital currency as in cryptocurrencies, but your Paytms and your this thing. Cryptocurrency and blockchain is a very different topic, which probably if I get an opportunity, I'll cover some other time. Again, the president of European Central Bank, which has made the statement across, but again, she made on the platform which I attended. It says, given the nature of the crisis, all hands should be on the deck. All available tools should be used. So what she is speaking about is, जो भी आपके पास इनोवेशन ट्रायल में भी है, आप उसे यूज करना शुरू कीजिए, क्योंकि क्या पता कौन सी चीज क्या आंसर दे दे. Because our crisis, the crisis that you and I have all gone through, and fingers crossed, by God's grace, we have survived. We have a very difficult world in front of us. क्योंकि जिन्होंने इसे फेस नहीं किया, उन्होंने इसे फेस नहीं किया, या God forbid, people who lost their lives have lost their lives. But you and I who have survived, we have to give these answers, and these answers have to be so foolproof that the future generation can use it all throughout their life, and even we can use it all throughout our life. So whether it's regulation coming in, whether it's innovation, ऐसा नहीं है आपको 2 साल के लिए इन्वेंट कर रहे हैं. ये चीजें ऐसी होने वाली है जो आपके साथ शायद जीवन भर चले. आपके जनरेशन, उसके बाद की जनरेशन, जो चीजें आज हम सुनते थे कि अरे ग्राहम बेल ने टेलीफोन इन्वेंट किया था या राइट ब्रदर्स ने एरोप्लेन इन्वेंट की थी, शायद आपके और मेरा नाम ऐसी चीजों के साथ जुड़ सकता है अगर हम ऐसा कुछ डेवलप कर सकते हैं कि सालों साल हमारी जनरेशन हमें याद रख करें. The new model of work, everything is going remote. Like Google also gave out May 2021 तक उनके plan थे, but now they have gone up to May 2022 because अगर आप देख रहे हैं US में भी cases वापस rise हो रहे हैं. अब जो job opportunities की मैं आपके बारे में बात कर रहा था and why entrepreneurial edge is important. If you go to Amazon on their website, now in their career section there's something known as virtual locations. अब virtual locations का मतलब है these are jobs which can be managed from work from home. So Amazon also doesn't require full-time employees there. And then there come in these entrepreneurs who are ready to work with companies like Amazon to provide them innovation technology. So, you know, they don't require staff to come to their office and work every day. There's a company called Crossover for Work, which provides you senior director level position, but at a distance. Their motto is, border talent without borders. So they themselves integrated so many technology कि अगर कल समझिए टाटा कॉफी या टाटा केमिकल्स या टाटा मोटर्स उनके पास जाती है, उनका जो डिजाइन डायरेक्टर है, he can sit in Germany and do work for them. All this is driven by technology. There are humongous tools that are making everyday life easier for every one of us. If you have to become an entrepreneur, or even if you are inclined towards doing a job, or still you are inclined towards innovation, understanding, you require certain skill sets which are now cannot be avoided at all. It cannot be. Believe me, अगर आपको चीजें समझनी है, सीखनी है, whether it's your parents, whether it's your anyone, they should know this skill set, and especially people like you and me who are still pretty early in their careers, to understand how things are going to move ahead. You need strong domain knowledge. आज तक अगर आपने सुना होगा आपके पेरेंट्स से या फ्रेंड्स से कि अरे ऑफिस में ये बंदे को इतना आता नहीं है, बट फिर भी यू नो ही सर्वाइव्ड, or he's used his other skills to keep his job alive, or things like that way. But when you work from home, आपके पास छुपने छुपाने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं है. आपको अगर चीजें आती हैं तो आती हैं, नहीं आती हैं तो नहीं आती. So your domain knowledge has to be impeccable. And secondly, now remember the borders have opened up. I can recruit people from anywhere across the world. So my skills are no more required to be, yeah, I'm first in Amity, I'm first in my college, I'm first in my region. It's going to be, if you are not best in the world, your chances go on keeping going down. So that's the reason you can't say ki, "Arey yaar, my knowledge is very India centric." No, it doesn't work that way. It has to be global. It has to be understood everywhere. Tech savviness, आज आपके अगर आप ऑफिसेस में काम करते हैं, हमारे जो भी टीचर्स हैं, वो उनके पास ये ऑप्शन नहीं है बोलने का कि हमको माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टीम्स चलाना नहीं आता. Then, I mean, what do you do? How do you teach them? हम सब ने ये चीजें सीखी हैं. हम सबके लिए माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टीम्स, शायद काफी लोगों ने आज से 1.5 साल पहले इसका नाम भी नहीं सुना था. Apart from your domain knowledge, tech savviness has become super important, and youngsters, please do not give that knowledge कि हमको ये चीज नहीं आती तो सीखो. There is no other option to it. Data literacy. Data is known to be the fourth industrial revolution. जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा कि वर्ल्ड में अब इतना डेटा बन रहा है, इसे यूज कैसे किया जाए. So that's where now the whole of the fight is. Facebook के पास इतना डेटा है, WhatsApp के पास इतना डेटा है, Google के पास इतना डेटा है, but अगर उन्हें monetize कैसे करेंगे, वो उन्हें use कैसे करेंगे, and how can they be ethical? It's not that कि आपने डेटा उठा के बेच दिया. That's not something. You have to see to it that you have to ethically do it. If you know, in India still we are not very stringent about how data is being used, but globally, if you would have seen on YouTube, Mark Zuckerberg had to face the the Congress there. Sundar Pichai had to face the Congress there because there were chances of data leaking and data breaches even with these big companies. Creativity and innovation, the whole topic that you and I are here on this platform is because you have to be innovative, you have to be out of the box. Uh, one example which was very prominent there was Mercedes when cars, अगर आपको पिछले साल आपको पता होगा तो कार की प्रोडक्शन 6 महीने के लिए पूरी रुक गई थी. So what did Mercedes do? The airbag section of their company, they started manufacturing something known as breathing aids to help people breathe. Not for oxygen delivery, but in general, even if you are running out of breath or something like that way, you can use those breathing aids which are there. So there were so many companies in India as well who started manufacturing sanitizer just because they had a base of alcohol. So yes, these are the changes that I'm speaking about, and this is the agility of your business model that has to allow innovation to come in. Then you have to know digital. आज के बाद आप ऐसा समझिए कि आपको मशीन से बात करनी है. So you should to tell the machine to do something. जैसे आप सबने ये मीटिंग ज्वाइन करी, you had to go and click a button, join the meeting. That's a command which you give to the machine कि boss please meeting start करो, I am ready. So how do you speak to machines? And when we are speaking about robots and drones, how do you speak to them? आप उसको खड़े रह के नहीं बोल सकते जा सामान डिलीवर कर दे. आपको उसको उसकी भाषा में समझाना पड़ेगा. Emotional intelligence, again, something which is very very important, very much now being talked about. अगर आप recent Olympics follow कर रहे हैं तो Simone Biles, अगर आप cricket follow कर रहे हैं तो Ben Stokes have all spoken about your emotional and the depression, the anxiety kind of features. Because अगर आप 6, 8, 10 घंटे एक स्क्रीन के सामने बिताते हैं, और खासकर अगर आप एक एक्सट्रोवर्ट काइंड के पर्सन है, so it affects your mental this thing very very difficult. I mean it hits you very very hard in your brain. So all these things have started coming up, which has led to a lot of these psychology kind of innovation also coming into. There are a lot of apps that are coming up now which are allowing people to stay away from screen, which are now being implemented in offices as well. There is an app something like known as Forest. अगर आप अपने आप को सोशल मीडिया के हैबिट से दूर रखना चाहते हैं, we've implemented in our office. It's a very beautiful app. आप उसे अपने क्रोम ब्राउजर या फोन में रखिए. वो क्या होता है, जैसे ही आप उस पर टाइमर डाल के चीजें ऑन करेंगे, वो एक पेड़ ग्रो होना शुरू होता है. If you have kept for 2 hours, after 2 hours that tree will be grown completely. But if you touch your phone in between that time, the tree dies. It plays on your emotional side, क्योंकि ऐसे तो आप फोन टच कर लेंगे, बट अगर कोई चीज आपके हाथ लगाने से मर जाती है, आप on that side, it is playing with a very very small fraction of your brain, but it's very effective in developing habits. So again, that is a part of innovation which is coming in, and which we are all very very this thing. Agar if there are a lot of people who started facing sleep anxiety disorders, sleep became a problem because you were in front of the screen the whole day. So there's another app which is known as Calm app, which helps you do meditation or get you relief out of the stress that you face because of the screen in front of you, and which all boils down to your emotional and the emotional side of things, which now is known as emotional intelligence. It's not only about IQ, it's about how balanced you are to take decisions rather than just knowing what 2 plus 2 is. Compared to a lifetime of learning, COVID ने हमें एक ऐसी चीज सिखा दी है कि time is very very uncertain and you don't know what's going to happen the next step. So that is the reason EdTech sector is coming up very very strongly, is because now people don't want to stay on their age old degrees. मेरा MBA आज से मैंने आज से 12 साल पहले मेरा MBA किया गया था, तब हमको फिलिप कोटलर भाई साहब ने सिखाया था कि, और उसका जो बुक का इंडिया वर्जन था इब्राहिम कोशी सर ने, कि इंडिया इज अ मार्केट वेयर ई कॉमर्स कैन नेवर फ्लरिश बिकॉज वी ऑलवेज बिलीव्ड इन टच एंड फील. ये चीजें हमारे बुक में लिखी गई थी, और आज आपके पास 10 साल बाद फ्लिपकार्ट और मिंत्रा जैसी चीजें हैं जहां हम धड़ल्ले से शॉपिंग कर जाते हैं बिना कपड़ों को हाथ लगाए हुए. So that's the power of innovation, and that's what every day it's changing. अगर आप retail tech में, I was mentoring a company right now, which even maybe in future you'll come. Abhi tak concept agar aap YouTube pe dekhenge, but they have already developed the concept, which is like you go and stand in front of the mirror, you select the cloth and you can try the cloth without touching the cloth. And you tell them and the store manager just goes and brings that cloth which you have selected over the screen. So that's again a retail tech. I can define my size. I can define my everything what I want and the clothes start coming in front of me. It's just like how Tinder functions. आप left swipe, right swipe करते जाइए, आपके clothes change होते जाएंगे. So that's already out there in the market, but slowly and steadily it will get implemented. So that's all happens because you have to commit. Most of our faculty, most of the people, most of even you guys, आपको भी कितनी सारी चीजें नहीं आती होंगी, आपने सीखी हैं. And that's what we call committing yourself to learn every new thing. आपकी 10 साल 12 साल पुरानी डिग्री शायद आज एक पेपर है, अगर आप रोज अपने आप को इनोवेट नहीं कर रहे हैं, अपने आप कुछ नया नहीं सीख रहे हैं, अपने आप जो चीजें चल रही हैं वो नहीं सीख पा रहे हैं. यू कांट से कि मेरे को Google यूज करना नहीं आता, you can't say मुझे email यूज करना नहीं आता. Today that's no more an excuse, and that gives another rise to a sector which is booming like crazy, which is known as skill development. Now you have universities, even we at Amity have the Amity Live, what we call it, is something where skill development is taught to you, continuously learning. आज आपके पास शायद ऐसा पैंडेमिक है जो आपको दूर रख रहा है, कल आपके पास शायद एक ऐसा पैंडेमिक आ जाए जो शायद चीजों को और कोई चीजों में डिसरप्ट कर दे या और कोई तरीके से ले जाए. अगर आप सीखना नहीं शुरू करेंगे डेली बेसिस पे, सो यू आर गोइंग टू स्लोली फॉल बैक इन व्हाटएवर यू डू. And that's something which I had and I thought I would briefly cover in terms of understanding, in terms of making people understand, in terms of how startups are building up, what people are thinking, what are the new innovations going to come in. And believe me, you can keep this presentation in next 5 years, you are going to see all companies surrounding on things which I have told you today. So if you have to start thinking towards entrepreneurship, think now, because guys, by the time आपका business plan यहाँ approve होगा, वहाँ पे already कोई product बना चुका होगा. So the speed is important, your market understanding is important, your learning is important, and your dynamicism is important, that you can change things as quickly as possible and adapt to something new that was. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me so patiently. I am happy to take in any questions if you have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maurya, for sharing your knowledge, your experience, your views, your insights with our students and with us also in a very different way and interactive way. And now the floor is open for questions and answers. So anyone, if they have some query, they can ask directly. Please raise your hand and then ask your question. Students, please be a little bit quick because the time is about to up and we have to wind up really fast. Yes, oh, it's one of our innovation mentor, Dr. Kamal Gulati. Please.
A very, very warm good afternoon to each and everyone. And sir, Mr. Nilesh, I am highly inspired by your, the presentation and what the way you talk about the COVID and the things are changing. I have very basic 2 questions, which may be a part for every faculty and students. The first one is like that you have talked about an metal, Amity is already using a metal software for 2 years.
Yeah.
During the pandemic time, we have the examination. And we have seen a trend, don't take me in the wrong way. Everybody is getting grade A++. It's very difficult to assess the students. There are other tools. The technology has grown up, in a very tremendous form. They have other ways to do their exam. And I know, like, the student, the faculty, everybody knows. And we have seen last week, this week, the 10th result, the 12th result. 98% was crying that why we have got 98, why not 100%? Don't we think that we are trying to, make them more, giving marks more, and still they are not happy? This is the first one. Secondly, what do you think? What would be the way? What would be the end of the technologies? We are talking about drones, latest gadgets, latest thing, technology. Don't we think there should be an era to have an halt? Otherwise, our mind will become an artificial longer way. We will not able to do the things. Thank you.
Very relevant, very apt question. In fact, I have an opportunity, like I said, to interact with education institutions. We, in fact, were discussing this in our board of studies meeting with the Raipur campus, where so this is exactly where actually my last slide about continuous learning was not there in the presentation, if you would have seen a year back or so, because I've been speaking the same thing everywhere. Continuous learning, sir, it's not on the side. If we see that our students have found newer ways to make chits and copy, if I being as a student, if I put it in a very raw manner, they have learned things faster than our system has. So that's a credit to the students in terms of how they have been able to defeat the system. But on the other side, it makes me realize, and I am a big propagator of it. I was never, एक तो अपना भी personal motive था क्योंकि खुद के कभी अच्छे marks नहीं आए. I am not a very big fan of the marking system per se. I mean, evaluation, there are various ways to evaluate in terms of how do we take it students rather than getting everything down to mark sheet. So maybe I believe in coming years, and especially with the vision that I have already seen with how C1 sir, C5 sir, C6 sir look at things, and we are very I mean, I would say we are one of the very grateful ones that we have such visionary leaders who lead us at Amity, that I'm sure slowly we'll have evaluation systems that are not going to be, restricted to metal and things like that way. So maybe, like I said, we are very early at things. We just adapted that technology that was currently allowing us to do what we used to do pre-COVID. जैसे हम एग्जाम ले रहे थे, you, I as faculty members also have not got chance and think about how can we change our evaluation system. So maybe in a couple of years time, you might see that the system has completely changed. And in terms of your second part of that question, 98, 99%, I have been speaking to a lot of education ministry people and things like that. Where by God's grace, I have a few IS friends here and there, where I believe now our management system kind of percentages have to come into the game, which is known as the percentile system. You can't rely on people having 98, 99%, which is further creating stress on everyone. If a person has scored 80% and if he's the best, let him be the first percentile and not the first percentage. Maybe schools have to slowly start maybe finding in technology or getting into that kind of gradations. But yes, I mean, you know it much better than me. We have our own ways of innovating, and bureaucracy sometimes takes this innovation a slightly more time to understand. So I think slowly and steadily colleges, schools will also start adapting to the percentile method than the percentage method, or maybe something completely new that you and I have never heard of. And regarding your second halting question, I am not really sure, sir, whether innovation is going to halt. Like, I'll give you an example. Why am I saying that? I was working with an incubator called as Techstars, which is world's global biggest incubators in the world. Walmart recently invested into a company which is known as Parcel. Parcel is where आपके पास ऐसे briefcase जैसे robots होते हैं. Something like आपके VIP के bags में जैसे टायर होते हैं. These are briefcases which function on their own. आपको उसमें खाली उनका एड्रेस डालना होता है और वो आपके घर पे सामान छोड़ जाएगी. अगर आप उसको बैग में, and it's locked, मतलब no one can steal those bags and just run away. They are all GPS driven. They all are smart enough. So if you are speaking about innovation taking a halt, I don't see that is happening. And that's the reason our emotional intelligence is very much important. कि where do you want to take a halt? आप कब अपना बोरिया बिस्तर बांध के छुट्टी पे जाना चाहते हैं, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, क्योंकि इनोवेशन नहीं रुकने वाला है. जिसका अदर साइड है, यू हैव टू कीप लर्निंग कि जब भी आप आपके छुट्टी से वापस आते हैं, you should be dynamic enough to learn the changes that have already happened. So I think we are too early to answer both of your questions, and that's the reason I said those questions were really fantastic, because they also put me into a thinking idea of whether something like a halt will come or not. Because we all get excited about innovation and this thing ki रोज चीजें बदल रही हैं, but halt is yes something which even I'm thinking of. ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है कि which halts everything in between. Maybe in years to come, there will be something. Thank you so much,
Sure,
sir, for your fantastic questions.
Same here, sir. Thank you. You have addressed both of them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question from our students, especially? It's a very nice opportunity, students. You can directly, you are able to talk to an entrepreneur directly. So please do not miss the chance. Yes, yes, Vaibhavi. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Very good afternoon. So my question is that when we talk about data, the collection of data done today is through telematics and other edge devices and cookies. So these are very expensive. So when a small business is trying to innovate, so how do they get to data collection? Because the public is already exhausted with giving so many surveys and other methods. Like they don't want to answer questions via call or SMS.
Good question, Vaibhavi, in terms of understanding it. But I will like to put things forward a little differently. The market research. I'll take it from the market research side, and then I'll take it towards technology. If surveys and all have already become things of the past, now how is your data collected? Is the number of pages that you visit on your mobile phone. और आपको क्या लगता है जो फेसबुक पे आप क्विजेस खेलते हैं वो उन्होंने आपके खुशी के लिए बनाए हैं? All of these are touch points to data collection, जो आपको वो बताता है कि आप लियोनार्डो डी कैप्रियो से कितना मैच करती है आपकी प्रोफाइल, या आज आपकी कुंडली में क्या लिखा जा रहा है, क्या समझा जा रहा है. All these are points of data collection. Anytime you touch your screen on your phone, you have given a data point which is as equivalent to doing a 20-page survey. And cookies and all are difficult, are expensive, you are right, but the way things are coming out, and there are so many agencies which give you cookies. A very, very bad example, and I mean, I'm putting it more jokingly, was Cambridge Analytica. अगर आपने उसका नाम सुना है, काफी controversial firm थी, which was blamed that Congress lost the election to BJP because, or Donald Trump came into power because they could manipulate the Facebook users' data. But now there are these specialized consultancies that have come into game which provide those data very easily to you. And even Amazon, if your products are on Amazon, if you pay certain fees to Amazon also gives you those consulting services. Like I'll give you the example. I've worked with Zomato, with their founders a lot in the starting days. Zomato पे अगर आपकी कोई service listed है, or if your restaurant is listed, Zomato every 3 months they give you some report for 5,000 rupees or something, where they say आपके area में क्या क्या हो रहा है, which cuisines are working, what price ranges are there, what things are there. Like they were great help in helping businesses. Like one of my friends owns a Mexican restaurant here in Mumbai. Now if you know about Mexican cuisine, the guacamole or the sauces that you create usually get spoiled pretty fast. So during pandemic, when the order flow was very less, Zomato came and guided them that you start a add a Chinese menu to your business, because if you are using Szechuan sauces and other sauces, their shelf life is much higher than the Mexican sauces. So this is, I'm speaking about this kind of a data, which is not really expensive. There are consultancies which can get you this data. अगर आपको Google use करने आता है तो there's something known as Google Analytics and Google Trends, which is freely available to you now. So things have gone beyond survey. Everything that you touch on and that's the reason people say use your phones very, very carefully, because you might leave a digital footprint that is going to be there throughout your life on the web, because web doesn't allow people to fade out on anything or forget anything. We've been cautious, asking a lot of our students, a lot of our employees as well, to not follow any of these phishing data, or because for them to get into your system is very, very easier. So if things are, there's a bright and a dark side both to it, but things are becoming very, very non-expensive. I wouldn't say cheap. they are becoming non-expensive, and as more and more data gets utilized, more and more data analytics is coming up, more and more innovation happens, it's going to be much cheaper. So that's something which I would like to put forward to you in terms of. But yes, if you are speaking about collecting data to survey, maybe today for some audience we still do it, but even that is all gone now. I mean, companies hardly use data like that way. Companies now use how are your buying patterns on Amazon, how are your demographics in and around e-commerce, shopping, traveling, and all those things have come in. So yes, that's my answer. Probably I have been able to answer you as
Yes, sir.
expected.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other question, students? If there would be other questions, Mr. Maurya, we will forward it to you through mail.
Definitely.
Or we'll share your mail ID with the students also.
I'm
they can
there.
contact you.
Yeah, I'm there across social media, guys. No worries. LinkedIn is the best way you can catch me because I'm there on 24 hours on LinkedIn. It's by same name, Nilesh Maurya. और भगवान की दया से MBA किया था तो वो भी लगा हुआ है नाम के आगे. So I'm there on LinkedIn. Please, that's my platform. Even if you have my phone number, I hardly pick up calls because I also try myself stay away from the phone as much as possible. But LinkedIn is my place. Please get in touch there. I can forward articles to you. I can forward things that you want. I can get you connected to people if you want. So, and I'm a fellow student, fellow Amitian. As आपका जो classmate है, मुझे वैसा ही समझिएगा. Although, I mean that's what has helped me. So I'm keeping that doors always open to you. So please don't hesitate in ever reaching out to me, whether you need any help, need to get connected to anyone or anything like that way.
Thank you once again. Now I would like to call Mr. Saket Kumar, Head Innovation and IPR AIDC, to present the vote of thanks.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, Nilesh, sir.
Hello, sir.
First of
How are
all,
you?
before vote of thanks, I would like to thank you for the short notice. You came here on the short notice, and always I invite you in the short notice.
Yeah. I mean, I can. That's what I was speaking
And you
about.
never denied to come here.
That's. I mean, that's a liberty which is the only way I can give Amity back something is
Yes,
by
sir.
being present on our platform at short notice.
Sir. Now, officially, good afternoon, everyone. It is our honor for me to express my gratitude to everyone present here today. I, on behalf of Amity Innovation and Design Center, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, and Institutions Innovation Council, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing this session on entrepreneurship as career opportunities, and especially Mr. Nilesh Maurya, who informed about his experience as entrepreneur and how to implement product innovation to gain success in the industries. Also, he discussed about the opportunities in this pandemic situation. His experience and words are lot of work to all of us, and I hope Mr. Nilesh Maurya will share his experience in future also with us. I further thank all the participants for joining us today. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Saket sir. Again, thank you everyone for kindly listening to me. I could see that the numbers are not going down, so that was pleasing enough.
No, sir. Actually, the talk was very informative. That's why the number is not going down, and everybody is enjoying.
Yes, Nilesh sir, I also want to add, Mohua, Professor Mohua, I was so caught. Your presentation was very much what to say. Very new things were there, and I was just thinking that we also have to rethink because I'm from economics. We always think in a survey mode, but आपका thought process सुन के लगा कि हम outdated हो गए हैं. हम लोगों को rethink करना पड़ेगा. So that is not the way by which data is taken. There are many new ways which are coming. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mahua. It was great to have you in the audience. I mean, I'm not that big enough to have such great personalities in the audience, but yes, thank you so much for allowing me to be there.
Thank you, Nilesh sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Over to you, Ekta ma'am.
Thank you so much, Saket sir. Once again, thank you, Mr. Maurya, and all the faculty members, innovation mentors, and students for attending this meeting. And with this, I am ending this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.